KGK's Vinyl Life. I'm your host, Anthony K. And this is the second video I'm filming and releasing today for my channel. I just dropped one a little earlier, and it was the vinyl tag of 2024, the annual vinyl tag that everybody does every year. And I'm dropping another tag video. And now the first week of the year, the vinyl tag comes out, which is 20 questions that you answer regarding your vinyl collection and music in general. And it's a great way for new channels to introduce themselves and for older channels just to have some fun. I enjoy doing the vinyl tag. I've done it every year, and I was even watching them before I had my own channel. So I'm happy to be doing this vinyl tag. And I'm going to do a few vinyl tags this year. Normally I just do the vinyl tag, but I think I'll take a stab at a couple vinyl tags this year because there are quite a few of them. The vinyl tag 2024 is the granddaddy, is the big one of them all. But there are a lot of smaller tags that are more genre specific. And such as the metal tag, which I might take a stab at. The jazz tag, which I thought about doing, but then I realized I could only answer 3 out of the 10 questions, so I scrapped that one. There's a jazz tag. And there's this tag, and I'm sure there's some other tags which I haven't seen yet. But I'm going to do this one, and this is a tag I think that none of you thought I would ever do. And it is the Beatles tag. That's right, I'm going to take a stab at the Beatles tag. And you guys know I'm not a big Beatles guy. I don't have a lot of Beatles. I'm not a Beatles channel. I don't show a lot of Beatles. I don't have a lot of Beatles. So I thought this would be a great challenge for me to see if I could actually answer every question in the Beatles tag. So I'm just going to have some fun with it, guys. I hope you enjoy this video. And so let's get on with the questions. There's 10 questions in the Beatle tag. I watched Rachel the Ghost's version of the Beatle tag, and I enjoyed it. So here we go. So question number 1. What Beatles album do you own the most copies of in any format or combination of formats? Well, I don't have multiple copies of any Beatles album. The few albums that I do have. But I think I can sort of answer this question with this right here. This is the brand new remaster of the Beatles 1962 to 66, 67, 70 box set, the red and blue albums. I did have actually 2 different copies of these albums just a couple of weeks ago, but I sold my OG pressings of my Beatles red and blue albums at my last auction just a couple of weeks ago. So I did a couple of weeks ago have 2 copies of this album, but I don't anymore. So that's the best I can do on question 1. The rest of the questions I think I can do a better job of answering. Question number 2, show a Beatles bootleg. Well, I don't really go out. I only have one Beatles bootleg that I know of, or maybe a couple. I do have a couple bootlegs, so I'll show you the first bootleg. This is my first Beatles bootleg right here. I got to bring it up for you guys to see. Got to move this out of the way. Here's my first Beatles bootleg right here. Here's my Beatles bootleg. It's a bootleg of Abbey Road, complete with boot and leg. Bootleg of Abbey Road. So there's my bootleg. But I actually do have another bootleg. I actually have another bootleg, and this is a bootleg. This is a DVD rip that I ripped off from a DVD copy of the Beatles' Help. So this is a bootleg version of the movie Help by the Beatles. This is a Beatles bootleg as well. This is a bootlegged version of the Beatles' Help on DVD, ripped from another person's DVD. This is a DVD rip bootleg. So there's my bootleg, Beatles bootlegs. Question number 3. Show the last Beatles album you bought. Well, the last Beatles album I bought is right here. It's the box set. The 1962 to 66, 1967 to 70 remaster box set. This is the last Beatles album I bought. Show a solo album. Question number 4. Show a solo album from your favorite Beatle. Well, that would be this one here. This is actually the first album I ever had in my collection that had anything to do with Beatles. And this is goes way back, and it's Paul McCartney and Wings, Band on the Run. This was the first album I ever owned in my life by anybody in the Beatles. Even before I owned a Beatles album, I had this album right here, Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings. This was kind of my introduction to anything Beatles related. And it wouldn't be till after Band on the Run that I would buy anything else by the Beatles. So Band on the Run is my introduction to the Beatles. And that answers question number 4. A solo album from your favorite Beatle. Number 5, and I loved Wings. I really did love Wings. Question number 5. Show a non-USA or non-UK Beatles album. Well, that's easy to do. I got to get this one right here again. This is a German press. That's right, made in Germany. So this is a German pressing of the Beatles 1962 to 66, 1967, 70 remasters box set red and blue album. So there you go. This box set is knocking off a lot of questions for me. So that's my non-USA or non-UK Beatles album. Number 6. Show a Beatles single or EP. Well, I actually have one of those. And this is from back in the day, from the 70s. And this is on the orange and gold Capitol label. This is I Got to Get You Into My Life, backed with Helter Skelter. I bought this for Helter Skelter because I do love the song Helter Skelter. So there you go. There's a bingo Beatles single or EP. Number 7, show an album that features a Beatles cover song. Well, here's an album. This came out about a year ago. I actually love this album. Maybe more than I love the Beatles. And this is from a series of albums where they do Brazilian jazz versions of famous artists' music. This is one of the many in the collection. This is Jazz and Beatles. That's right, Jazz and Beatles. And I love this. I do love this album. This is some great Brazilian jazz versions of classic Beatles songs. It's on a cool red and yellow vinyl. So it's kind of got the whole red and yellow feel to it. So it's on a red and yellow vinyl. It's got fantastic, and it's a comp. So it's made up of all sorts of different artists. And there's all sorts of people on here doing things like Day Tripper, Yesterday, Come Together, Let It Be, Oh Darlin', Hard Day's Night, Here Comes the Sun, Honey Pie, Something, Blackbird, All You Need Is Love, Hey Jude, Sgt. Pepper, Can't Pay Me Love, Revolution, Paperback Writer, Get Back, In My Life, She Loves You, Penny Lane, I Feel Fine, Ticket to Ride, Long and Winding Road, and I Want to Hold Your Hand, performed by all sorts of classic, great Brazilian jazz artists. So there you go. A Beatles cover album. And that was number 7. Show an album that features a Beatles cover song. Well, that's got how many? 20 cover songs on it. 6, 12, 18, 24 cover songs. There you go. Number 8. Show an album where show an album where one of the Beatles guest starred on it. Well, I'm going to go with one of my favorite artists of all time, Mr. Alice Cooper. And this is the Hollywood Vampires. Their first debut album, the Hollywood Vampires debut album, which featured Paul McCartney singing on Come and Get It? Yeah. Paul McCartney sings on Come and Get It on this fabulous Hollywood Vampires album with Alice Cooper, Joe Perry, and of course Johnny Depp. I had a brain freeze for a second there. Covers album. There you go. Paul McCartney sang on Come and Get It on that album there. So that was number 8. Show an album where one of the Beatles guest starred on it. And now we're going to be moving on to question 9. Question 9 is going to be coming up right after this, as I have to just pause for a station break and to adjust some things here. But we'll be back with questions 9, 10, and the bonus question 11 right after this. And we're back, and I've magically changed. That's right, because I changed for question number 9. Question number 9 is a non-album Beatles-related item. Example, a book, a ticket, a pillow, etc. How about a Beatles tank top? That's right, a Beatles tank top. But to do one even better, how about a ticket to the 1970, when was it, 76, I'm thinking? How about a ticket, my ticket stub from when I went to see Wings Over America at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto on Sunday, May 9th, for a grand total of $7.50. My ticket stub to Wings Over America. So there you go. Question number 9. And last but not least, question number 10. Show us your favorite Giles Martin Beatles remix. Well, I only got one, and it's the red and the blue 1962 to 66, 1967 to 70 remastered box set red and blue albums by Giles Martin. So there you go. Show your favorite Giles Martin remix. It's the only one I got. And last but not 11, shout out a Beatles channel you'd like us to watch. Well, I don't watch any Beatles channels, so I don't even know who they are, except one, a dear woman that I love, absolutely love. She's a good friend of mine. I love her dearly. And that is, of course, Rachel's Ghost. She's the biggest Beatle fan I think I know on the planet. She's just got a massive Beatles collection. So hats off to Rachel's Ghost and her fabulous channel and her daily live streams. So shout out, channel. She's a Beatles channel as far as I'm concerned, because her love of the Beatles is just undeniable. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next one real soon. Rock and roll.